What are the Raiders doing?
They have no idea.
You had Khalil Mack. Good pass rushers are hard to find.
Well, we didn't have a pass rush. Well, duh! Why do you think you didn't have a pass rush? That might have something to do with you trading Khalil Mack. That's why you didn't have a daggone pass rush. So let's be clear about this.
Well, then why did you trade Khalil Mack?
You had him, but you traded him for assets.
It's a players' league. You got one of the elite defensive players in the game of football.
Why does he trade Khalil Mack, really? Because he looks at the team and he goes, we're not close. We're not that close. We have holes to fill. This guy is already 27. He's going to make a ton of money. If we're about to win, of course, you got to sign him. We're not. Let's get draft picks and we'll see what we can do with them.
Okay.
And it seems like the value was given up. So you think, what's going on here? Well, if you didn't know anything about the Raiders.
But y'all can't find money for Khalil Mack, the Mack Daddy. Raider Nation, silver and black. You can't find money for that guy.
Right. When you said yourself,
oh, man. I think I need a minute to digest all that, dude. I was like, man, I don't know. What do you guys think of that? You guys want some more of that? So I'm wearing this Where the Sun Don't Shine shirt. Man. What's up, everybody? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Say what's up to the chat. Got a lot of things to get into here. Southside, been a minute, man. Hopefully doing good, bro. Cuban Raider, what up, big dog? Ain't seen you in a minute, man. Appreciate you guys for all tuning in. Yeah, we got some stuff we're going to talk about for sure, bro. All right, White, salute, man. Hopefully you've been good. Ryan Miller, salute. Who else we got up in here? Thrash. You get a mic check. Make sure everybody can hear me all right. And I cut that short. That was, like it makes me like vomit in my mouth, like hearing that shit again. You guys want to go through that again with trading Max Crosby? Man, bro, I don't even know what to say if that's going to be the case. You know what I'm saying? I've been dealing with this cold, so, you know, hopefully the audio's been a little bit better. Got some phone things set up here in my little area, so hopefully it's better than it was in the past, because I know the echo was bad and didn't sound good. So want to do things a little bit differently in this video with my card channel. Tried a few things out, so I'm going to try something a little differently here for you guys. So, all right, there's a lot to get into, so let's just get right into it, man. All right, first up, should Pete Carroll retire? I think it's an important question that we should all be asking, and some keynotes or questions that kind of want to go over and digest this before I get into some other stuff. So we're gonna kind of bounce around a little bit. All right. So a few notes I put down here. So Raider Nation was sold on a win now, and we were sold on we're gonna win a lot of games. That's the facts, guys. And a lot of these coaches come in, it's all lip service, it's all the same old, right? So, Pete Carroll comes in. They don't sign Nate Hobbs, no Trayvon Moehrig, no Robert Spillane. They essentially make a key decision that, those are their decisions of what they think is going to be best for the Raiders to supposedly win now, right? Then Christian Wilkins release. I'm not going to die on that hill, although he was projected to be a good player. We gave a lot of money for, but, he gets released. No contract for Jacoby Myers. And then Raiders trade our best cornerback, Jacorian Bennett. That one was a head scratcher to me. Like, you're telling me we're trying to win now, but the best cornerback on our team, we're going to trade him away. Raiders changed the running back position of Ashton Jeanty and his stance. Another head scratching, thing. Just like, what are these guys doing, dude? Especially, this isn't like a first-time head coach, man. You guys got to think. Pete Carroll should have been collecting Social Security check 12 years ago. 12 years ago, age 62, he could start collecting a Social Security. This ain't like some, up and newcomer, 30, 40, 50-year-old coach. You know what I'm saying? So Pete Carroll, in all his experience, didn't see this coming. So is Pete Carroll the best coach for a rebuild at 74 years old? Because that's where we're at now. We're at like rebuild status. And is Pete Carroll the best coach at 74 years old? All right, get the chat real quick. Who else we got up here? Alex Raider 35. Hope you're doing good, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Anybody that subscribes, appreciate you. OG Raider 805 he said, I think you should. We need a coach, young mind. So I'm going to kind of, Brian Miller said, I think he's going to leave after the season. We're going to make it sound mutual. He's not the coach for a rebuild. That's where I'm at, bro. That's where I'm at. Rosetown native, salute, man. All you guys still subscribe to me. Appreciate you guys. And at some point here, I've been working on something else in the background. I'm going to try to do for you guys at some point here. But I got to get finished up. So but stay tuned for that. All right. So I'm just going to pause on this. We just need to digest this, okay? And then I'm going to kind of give maybe a little more in depth. But I think this kind of explains everything without me getting too fired up, yelling on the microphone. I think this is pretty clear, you know. The other thing I guess I didn't put in here, but I will mention, is, when we have a rivalry against the Chiefs, this is what this is like the deal breaker for me personally. Okay. You're down like 0-31. There's like 2 minutes, 33 seconds left in the game, right? You got 3 timeouts and you don't use any of your timeouts to at least try to go score a field goal. Meaning you're throwing in the towel, you're throwing in, the white flag, throwing in the white flag saying, you know what? I don't care if we get any points on the board. We're just going to get 0 points and not use any timeouts. And I know some people are trying to say like, this is, respect, that Andy Reid has over there for Pete Carroll. And, that's why, the Chiefs started kneeling when there was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game or whatever. But that take, I think, is like horseshit, if I'm just being honest with you guys, because the reality is if Andy Reid and the Chiefs had respect for the Raiders, they wouldn't be doing trick plays like they did where Patrick Mahomes was like, oh, this shit never fucking works. Literally, like Patrick Mahomes, the poster boy of the NFL, like lays an F-bomb on national TV, and, they're still doing these clown ass trick plays against the Raiders, man. It's not a respect thing, dude. That's a sorry ass take, dude. I'm sorry, bro. I'll like, maybe that's not the hill I should die on, because there's a lot more, situations with the Raiders that we're dealing with and just that. But for any Raider fan, I think to have the take that it's a respect thing, I think is complete horseshit, if I'm just being straight up with you guys. I mean, if they had respect for them, they're not doing trick plays, to make the Raiders look like a bunch of clowns. And guess what? The national media is laughing all over the Raiders, just like they did Ring Around the Rosies and just like they did when the Chiefs planted their flag in the middle of our field. So I'm not buying that take for one fucking second. If you want to, then go ahead. But I'm not taking that shit. If you're a Raider fan and you're the Raiders and you think of Al Davis, he would have never thrown in the towel. And if you're a coach and you threw in the towel like that, you wouldn't be getting on the plane back to fucking Las Vegas. That's all I know. So people can try to spin it however they want, but I don't think they're being real about the situation. All right, next up. Let's take a break from that. So this one's funny. I got like a bunch of notes here. Some I've been thinking about, and some of this really, really does frustrate me. Going to try to be composed as I can be here. But, who's the worst Raider content, creators or that covered the Raiders, around? And I'm not going to tell you guys who they are yet. I will at the very end. I'm going to go over a few things. Some of you guys will probably guess it, but we'll go over it. And there's probably stuff I'm missing. I know there's stuff I'm missing. I just wanted to cover some key topics here for what, we've been fed. So there's 2 on top of my list that I'll reveal at the end. And then number 2, what would happen like at your job if you were as wrong as some of these Raider content creators have been? Like seriously, like if you do construction, like you cut a piece of baseboard like an inch off, right? Like an inch off, and you just install it. You think the homeowner is going to be okay with you like cutting the baseboard an inch off? Or what if it's too long and it's all boat. It's not even against the wall. You're just gonna like nail it up. You know, you think the homeowner is gonna be okay with that? Or you're doing trim around a door and it's like, you know, an inch short or an inch gap at the bottom. If anybody was as wrong in their daily jobs as some of these guys, you would be fucking shit canned, man. And that's one of the perspectives and points I want to make. Number 3. So one of these top 2 candidates never gave John Gruden a chance to try to, and he tried every chance that this guy got. He tried very hard to fry John Gruden long before the emails. Number 4. Both of these guys pumped up Josh McDaniels and then later justified terrible decisions like being okay with not giving Jacobs a contract and moving on from Jacobs. Number 5. Both approved and pumped up Raider Nation for signing Jimmy G as the starting quarterback. And I could go into depth on some of these. Some of these piss me off so bad I can't, dude, because it's like I'm going to get fucking come off the handle. So, number 6, neither talked about the real problem of the O-line switching from a power man blocking scheme to a zone blocking scheme. Neither one of these content creators talked about that being the real issue. So the point is on that one, right? You know, and I've said this before, but I'm going to hammer this into the ground because this is the kind of clown shit that the Raiders, no matter who our coaches have been, have done. I've talked about it before. I'll touch on it briefly. When Josh Jacobs was the leading running back in the NFL, we had a power man blocking scheme, right? That was year 1 of Josh McDaniels. Year 2, they switched the offensive line to a zone blocking scheme. And Josh Jacobs, you know, that was the year he held out. The Raiders really struggled. Josh Jacobs getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, right? Didn't work. McDaniels gets fired. Guess what they do? Antonio Pierce comes in. He switches it back to a man blocking scheme. The run game gets better. Jacobs does a little better until he got hurt last few games or whatever. But and then the following year, so Antonio Pierce becomes the head coach. So last year, they switched the zone blocking. They switch back to a zone blocking scheme for the run game. And guess what happens? And they get rid of Josh Jacobs. Our run game struggles immensely from switching the offensive line back to a zone blocking scheme, right? Like you can't make this shit up, okay? And then towards the end of last year, they actually switched the blocking scheme back to a more of a man blocking scheme. And that's when the run game did better. So what do they do that going into this year? They do the exact same thing. This is the most insane stuff for any coaches that I don't care how long they've been fucking coaching. They do the same thing and they switch the offensive line back to a zone blocking scheme. And now our run game is struggling, even though we drafted Ashton Genty. Part of it's rookie running back, maybe part of it's talent, but large part of it is the blocking. And if you guys go back to when Tom Cable was, and I'm not saying he was the best offensive line coach, but when Tom Cable was the offensive line coach, Tom Cable helped elevate guys like, drawing a blank now, Good, Denzel Good, I think was his name. He became pretty good, but he wasn't like a starter. So they helped develop him. And then our previous, center, Andre James, he started out as like, he was like a UDFA. He started out as like a guard, and Tom Cable helped elevate him to eventually become a center. So a lot of this does have to do with coaching, guys, and scheme. And Tom Cable actually surprised me a lot of times by getting more out of our offensive line than the talent we had, instead, even though Tom Cable knows Pete Carroll, coached, for the Seahawks and Pete Carroll, for whatever reason, Pete Carroll makes the decision to not hire Tom Cable, even though he should have. Instead, he hired freaking his son. And we see these massive issues with the offensive line. Part of it's talent, but a large part of it is also coaching and scheme. So leave it at that. Number 7, both of these, Raider content creators, pumped up Luke Getsy as the offensive coordinator going into 2024. So we had Antonio Pierce as our coach. Luke Getsy comes in. A lot of them are like, oh, yeah, we're going to be good. When a lot of people in Raider Nation had a lot of doubts if Luke Getsy was going to be a good fit or a good offensive play caller. And I don't even know. We probably don't even need to revisit that. I think that explains a lot right there. Both of these guys also pumped up Gardner Minshew to be the starting QB instead of Aiden O'Connell. Yep, that's right. Both of these Einsteins thought that it was going to be smart to start Gardner Minshew and us giving Gardner Minshew the contract that we gave him, And for me, guys, like, even though I'm more like pro Aiden O'Connell than other guys, I want plan A, B, and C. Most of these guys and the situations, they haven't gave us a plan A, B, and C. It's been like an all or nothing one way or the other. And that, I think, is a huge miss by, the last 3 different, coaches. All right. Next page for worst Raiders content, creators or covering the Raiders. All right. Aiden O'Connell, he would need a good running back to be successful. Yet Raiders let Jacobs walk and not make a real effort to sign Jacobs. Like, doesn't this seem crazy to you guys, right? You have a pocket passer quarterback, right? And Aiden O'Connell, who has an accurate arm if he has time to throw, right? But for a pocket passer, anybody that knows like a little ounce of football, if you have a pocket passer style quarterback, everybody knows you better have a good run game or he's not going to be successful. It's like, you need a good run game for a lot of situations, but if you have a pocket passer and not a mobile quarterback, you better have a good run game. So they have Aiden O'Connell. They know they need a run game, and yet they make no real effort to sign Jacobs, meaning they did not set Aiden O'Connell up for any kind of success. They set him up for failure, and that pisses me off. So both of these clowns were the top cheerleaders for Raiders to sign Pete Carroll as head coach. And when I mean top cheerleaders, I mean like they were on the Pete Carroll, like slobber knocking, bro. Like, I mean, these guys could not get enough of the Pete Carroll. Like, was that, I wish I should have thought to clip that, but that clip from, I think it was like Happy Gilmore, where he's like, old wrinkly balls, or whatever. Or maybe that was maybe it was a Happy Gilmore. It was one of his other ones, like Billy Madison or something. But like, it's true, dude. It's like, it's fucking crazy, man. All right, both pumped up Raider Nation for trading for Geno Smith and giving up a 3rd-round draft pick. Both thought giving Geno Smith a new contract of $75 million and $66.5 million guaranteed was a great idea. And now all of our eggs are in one basket at this point with a Geno Smith basket. And I'm like, dude, this is not a good idea. Like, because now we have plan A and that's it. Like, all of our eggs are in the Geno Smith basket. There's no plan A, plan B, or plan C. Like, yeah, maybe you could count Aiden O'Connell as plan B, but this was a terrible idea. I mean, for these guys to be this wrong and to pump up Raider Nation, they should be fucking fired. They should not have jobs and they should be fired. And Raider Nation gobbles it up, man. Gobble, gobble. All right, last 2. Both of these clowns have lowered expectation each time they've been wrong, feeding Raider Nation that these guys aren't their guys and how we need to accept another rebuild, even after coaches like Josh McDaniels and Pete Carroll made key decisions to get rid of our talent. So does that make sense to you guys? They're both like, hey, we're going to win now. And then they end up getting rid of like our key talent. And then they're like, oh, well, we don't have the guys that we need. Like, so we have to get some different guys. This is like, I swear to God, like some of this is like, these guys, like, they can't think we're this stupid in Raider Nation, right? Like, there's no way they think we're this dumb. I mean, seriously, like, you guys realize we've seen this same playbook over and over again. And both of these clowns that have been pumping this bullshit to all of us at Raider Nation for years have been so fucking wrong. It's a fucking disgrace they even have a job anymore. Both never admit how wrong they were in their Raiders analysis. That's key. Both never admit how wrong they were in their Raiders analysis. Instead, it's just excuse after excuse after excuse. Feeding Raider Nation more BS. Gobble, gobble. And then Raider Nation will say, oh, there's no one bigger than the Shield. Yum, yum. And they gobble it up, man. I swear to God, like, bro, like, and this is why a lot of times I can't go live. Like at some point, like, yeah, I want to create unity, but at another point, like some people need called the fuck out. They do. And I bought into it. Like, look, man, like I said in my last video, dude, I don't want to come on here bashing my team. Trust me, I don't. I love the Raiders, man. Like, to a point where, like, when they lose, it ruins my whole fucking Sunday and Monday and part of my Tuesday, So these, Raider content creators that are pushing this bullshit to us over and over again, and for them to be wrong, from Jimmy G to Gardner Minshew to like all this stuff, and this is like one of the issues that I have in people that cover the Raiders and shit is this fake ass bullshit, man. And hopefully you guys all see it. Like it fires me up to such a degree, I got to take a break. Like literally, I got to take a break. So we're going to pause on this. Okay. And let's make sure. Oh, here we go. Should the Raiders trade Max Crosby? Hell no. Nah. Remember, Mac, this could be about a 4-minute. We're going to have to digest this whole fucking thing. We're going to slobber knock this because guess what, man? Next thing you know, these clowns are going to be saying, hey, rebuild. These guys aren't our guys. Lower expectations. And if somehow Max Crosby gets traded, guess what? These guys are going to, it's on repeat, just like all the other shit we've been dealing with. So we got to fucking listen to this shit. You got to stomach it no matter how bad it hurts because you guys fucking forget. But don't worry. I'm here to bring it into fucking reality.
Derek Carr is the franchise. Derek
Raiders do. What are the Raiders doing?
They have no idea. You had Khalil Mack. Good pass rushers are hard to find.
Well, we didn't have a pass rush. Well, duh. Why do you think you didn't have a pass rush? That might have something to do with you trading Khalil Mack. That's why you didn't have a daggone pass rush. So let's be clear about this.
Well, then why did you trade Khalil Mack?
You had him, but you traded him for assets.
It's a players' league. You got one of the elite defensive players in the game of football.
Why does he trade Khalil Mack, really? Because he looks at the team and he goes, we're not close. We're not that close. We have holes to fill. This guy is already 27. He's going to make a ton of money. If we're about to win, of course, you got to sign him. We're not. Let's get draft picks and we'll see what we can do with them.
Okay.
Does this sound familiar? I mean, anybody, does this sound familiar? We got to get draft picks. We got to trade for him. Hey, slop and knocking, gobble, gobble, man.
And it seems like the value was given up. So you think, what's going on here? Well, if you didn't know anything about the Raiders.
But y'all can't find money for Khalil Mack, the Mac Daddy. Raider Nation, silver and black. You can't find money for that guy.
When you
So obviously Max is already paid. But you guys think the media ain't gonna roast us, bro? They're gonna be like, they traded Khalil Mack and then they traded Max Crosby. I mean, you guys are tripping, bro. You guys are straight tripping, man. And this one's a little different. I brought up this one. I didn't want to bash Derek Carr, but I do want to point out a point. It's funny that they can bash Derek Carr for throwing 3 interceptions, which any quarterback, you throw 3 interceptions in a game, you should be bashed. But Geno Smith, the national media, for some reason, they won't bash Geno Smith. He's on like their fucking protective shield or some bullshit, man.
said yourself, Derek Carr is the franchise. Derek Carr is that type of player. And he throws 3 interceptions. That's not showing me you're worth it.
Nauseous.
What they received for Khalil Mack, which again, as we've gone on the surface, looks like a good deal. But when you see where they traded draft positions and everything, and you see that those it's almost like they only got 1 first rounder when you consider the second round.
And make no mistake, they will flag me for this shit. They always fucking do. They cancel culture me because they don't want fucking truth.
And when you consider where that first rounder is likely to be, you're not going to find a Khalil Mack level talent. But you really don't have a very good chance of doing that.
Skip Bayless, when you
Right? They're like, hey, it's going to be hard to get a Khalil Mack, right? It's going to be hard to get a Khalil Mack. Well, guess what? We finally got somebody that's like a Khalil Mack. His name's Max fucking Crosby. And we might trade him. I heard what they said. I don't believe anything any motherfucker says, whether it's Mark Davis or the other fucking top, coverage of the Raiders, and these clowns and fucking what they're trying to report.
You draft a player, regardless of position, you hope that player turns out to do what Khalil Mack did. Regardless of his position, all you can do is hope. Man, I hope the guy that we scouted on tape, that we saw at the combine, that we have in our building now, I really hope we hit this out of the park. Skip, they got a great player. Those 2 first-round picks you got, one of them better turn out to be Khalil Mack.
But I hate.
All right. So one of them, the only one that did work out was Josh Jacobs. And he did turn out to be a great player. But then they let him walk. They let, like, hey, dude, you did great for us, man. We got Josh Jacobs for, out of the Khalil Mack trade. Hey, we're just going to leave you in your fucking car and not give you a contract, bro. That's how we fucking care about you. That's what the Raiders fucking did, man. And then, oh, no one's bigger than the Shield. And then we can't run the ball the next year. They switched the scheme. We can't run the ball. There's no Josh Jacobs. You got Aiden O'Connell in there. No fucking run game. And it's like this, like, eighth wonder of the world why we're not doing fucking good, bro. Like, seriously, man. Seriously, bro. Absolutely insane. And again, what did they say in there? Hey, you'd be lucky to get a guy like Khalil Mack. Yeah, we would. It took a few years. We finally got one in Max Crosby.
Hated me some Khalil Mack trade because I've never seen anything this dumb before. It's incomprehensibly stupid and foolish and short-sighted to let go of a very popular locker room leader, because that's what Khalil Mack was to this team, in return for draft picks that will never stack up to what he is. It's just the odds. Again, could you hit the lottery with one? I guess you could, but I'm willing
Well, guess what? We hit the lottery with fucking Max Crosby.
to bet against this right here, right now, because that locker room is going to be in psychological shambles over this. You saw the early tweets from the quarterback and the other pass rusher. They were not
Bruce
happy,
Irvin.
and they shouldn't. And Derek
No
Carr,
bleeping way.
yeah, no bleeping way. And I think Derek Carr was just no way. It was his first tweet, and then both of them reversed field and said, yeah, but we got to get ready. We got to go onward and upward, which is what you would say at that
Of course,
point, too, because
yeah.
you have to. But the first two tweets are the gold tweets. They're the ones that came straight from the heart and the gut and
Absolutely.
the soul, because they said exactly what the rest of the world is saying. No way.
No way.
You did that? And I hate to say this about my guy, John Gruden, and
I don't know if there's anything else. I'll be honest. I thought I edited out that. Might have forgot.
oh, well, I guess we got
Oh, I think that was an important part. Let's hear that.
forcing many in Raider Nation to sit back and say, oh, well,
So, and this is I think this part's the part right here, like, because he's talking about exactly if we trade, like, what we're going to be fed right now, even if we don't trade Max Crosby, but especially if we trade Max
cold
Crosby.
feet about having to make miracles in year number one with the Oakland Raiders, because a lot of people are saying, we're back, here we come. And all of a sudden, by making this trade, he's forcing many in Raider Nation to sit back and say, oh, well, I guess we got to wait, 2-3 years to see
Which is what we're being fed right now. Hey, we need to lower expectations, guys. This
how
it's
these
the
draft picks turn out.
same playbook.
What good is these assets? What are they going to do for you right now? You were brought there to win, and I don't know how trading your best player helps you win sooner.
Well, then why did you trade Khalil Mack? We'll see how it plays out.
But
They
he's
got
good.
2 more first-round picks next year, and so he's banking on the fact that the pressure is off, expectations are lowered, and he's forcing Raider Nation to wait to see how the kids turn out.
What are the
Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. It makes me nauseous, even still. Like, it pisses me off. Like, but Alex, like, stop. I know, bro. I know. We had to hear it, dude. Truth hurts. That's what's gonna happen if we trade Max Crosby, man. It's gonna be no different. It'd probably be worse. You know, I mean, yeah, maybe we don't have John Gruden to troll. Like, hey, pass rushers are hard to find, but hot damn, bro. You know, and the point he made about, you know, the locker room, you know, being in shambles and stuff. You trade a guy like Khalil Mack. Yeah, that happened. And that will happen again with Max Crosby. He's like the cornerstone piece of the entire team. So, like, I get it. I know we need a franchise quarterback. You know, I understand people's take that it's like, you know, on the side that, like, you know, hey, we should trade Max Crosby kind of thing. I can't deal with that shit again, dude. I'll be honest with you. I can't deal with fucking these clowns and us being the clown of the entire NFL, and it's just on fucking repeat, bro. I can't do it. Yeah, I just don't want to digest it. No fucking way, man. So I should get in your guys' comments. There's more we're gonna get into. I had to take a break from the other clown shit. It's funny, like, being a Raider fan, all I can go is like from some clown shit to other clown shit, because like there's nothing else other than clown shit. It's like, oh, I got to take a break from this clown shit to go over to this other clown shit, you know, to let the first clown shit like not piss me off, you know, but then the other clown shit pisses me off. So it's kind of funny. Oh, man. But don't worry. There's plenty more to get into. I just got to take a little break. All right. Enamored. He said, Pete half-assed the whole damn thing this season. Geno doesn't fit Kelly's offense scheme. And they failed to spend money upgrading the O-line. JPJ saga is weird and unnecessary. I agree, bro. And don't forget, like, we didn't draft it like a quarterback, bro. Like, we had chances. Cam Miller, Cam Miller, I think was 6th or 7th round, but like, the Ohio State quarterback, he went in the freaking, I think it was 5th round. Was it Will Howard or whatever? And he wasn't bad. I mean, you're telling me you get him in the 5th round? I mean, I would have taken him. And knows Chip Kelly's offense. I mean, why did we try to draft Will Howard? Chip Kelly, won a championship with him. So that to me was mind-boggling. Is it they don't want competition for Geno Smith, or it's just there's so many things. I mean, even Shedeur Sanders in the 4th round, you tell me you couldn't pull the trigger on nobody. I mean, there is no plan A, B, and C. They put all their eggs in the Geno Smith basket. Now we're fucked, man. Alex Rader said, if the record was 5-2, then win now mode, but looks like another rebuild. So Raiders need young head coach. I agree, bro. I agree. Don't be sorry, ass Raiders. Brian Miller said, I can't believe he downplayed the rivalry with KC. That really got under my skin. And then he got taken to the woodshed by him. That's all Pete does is make excuses. Yeah, man. And then we're going to get, like, as time goes on, I'm telling you guys, we're going to get fed more and more excuses. That's why, look, dude, I love Q Myers and Raider Nation Radio as far as when Q Myers is on. And, I respect the hell out of him. He had a different take on the 2-minute thing. I'm not going to let that be a deal breaker for how I feel about him personally. Because I do think he's like the best in the business and does the best fair analysis of the Raiders, And, but, there's a lot of things that there's a lot of things with this team and like other people not being honest besides him, not saying him, but I think Andy felt bad for Pete, not in a respect way either. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Said the clown shit for the Chiefs didn't happen with AP, even though AP wasn't a good head coach. And in the moment he made tons of mistakes on the field, I think Chiefs took him seriously. Yeah, man. He was ready to fucking rock and roll. Said, man, I want Ben Johnson as a head coach. Yeah, I don't know if Ben Johnson would have been done any better, bro, to be honest with you, man. There's a lot of work has to be done on this team. I mean, like, why is our defense struggling? How much is, like, look at everything, dude. Like, how much is our defense is struggling is because Pete Carroll switched the scheme for fucking, Patrick Graham. Like, seriously. Is our defense mainly struggling because Pete Carroll switched the scheme? I think our defense would be doing a lot better if Pete Carroll would have left his hands off the fucking defense and let Patrick Graham do his job. That's what I think, bro. I said it too. Even though he's smug, it's weird. He knows the NFL scheme plays. Bears are looking better each week. Jimmy Gunn, shout out to you, bro. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my homie Jimmy, doing card auctions and stuff on Saturdays sometimes. Said, my guy, I'm not the only one dealing with Raiders scoring 10 TDs all year. Jonathan Taylor has 11 TDs himself. But now my Blazers are getting popped by the FBI. Oh, I didn't hear about that. I heard something about there's like briefly that there's some sort of basketball gambling scandal thing, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Oh, here we go. He said a JT the Brick has gotten pretty bad. Pretty bad. All the ass. What? Oh, all that ass does is go to his book of self-excuses for Mark Davis, John Spytek, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and he calls us fans out for being pissed off. Yep. Well, you guys got one of them. I'll say it at the end. I had to take a break from it. We could have Jackson Dart and Scattaboo, both scream Raiders. Bro, me and Jimmy talked about this a little bit. I didn't push the Jackson Dart thing a lot, but that was my favorite quarterback, going to this draft. He puts like that thing under his eye because he has that scar, and it's like to mimic Anakin Skywalker. So he's like a big like Star Wars and Anakin Skywalker fan. Obviously the Raiders, the Death Star, and Darth Vader. You think of Darth Vader, it's only Raiders. I know there's probably some few other teams that try to have like a Raider costume for their team, but Darth Vader and Raiders is like Darth Vader is a Raider. We even have our own guy as far as like in the Black Hole and stuff that dresses up like Darth Vader. So You telling me we could have had a guy in Jackson Dart that like literally would have been the perfect fit for a quarterback, and not just like skill set and what he brings to the table, but like Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. I mean, it would have been fucking perfect, bro. But Jimmy called it. He said Giants were going to draft him. Jason Marshall, shout out to bros. Exactly the Al Davis projector season PowerPoint. He fired Kiffin. What's up, Raph? Hopefully all you guys doing good. He said, bro, why you gotta do that? It still hurts. Oh, we're getting to the video comments now. Yeah, I was like, stop. Said Ryan Clark made a good point yesterday's podcast. Mark Davis setting his budget instead of having open budget regardless of where the NFL cap is marked at. Yeah, bro. Like, why didn't we sign? You're telling me out of Nate Hobbs, Robert Spillane, Trayvon Morig, we couldn't sign one or two of those guys? Like, what the fuck, bro? Instead, we give Geno Smith this like contract we shouldn't have given him. He said, man, tell Skip to shut up. His team traded Parsons, man. So I'll be honest, first season I bought no gear or cared about the season. I always love him, but hey, I don't blame you, bro. Warreb said, why can't this organization understand nothing works until you draft your QB, which is sellers or more, and build around him like every damn team does, which we haven't done in 20 years. It's a duh. No, you got to have a franchise quarterback. I don't disagree with you, but that's why I say you got to plan A, B, and C, bro. Can't be picky. Just get one damn first round QB. Been 18 years. Well, I mean, we got Jamarcus Russell, if you count that. Fresh Prince said, hey, man, Benjamin, hope you're doing good. Can't stand the Raiders, man. Pretty sure you're a Raider fan, dude. I'm pissed off at them too, bro. Like, you wouldn't believe, man, right now. Said they just need to burn it, let the season, and let Spytek have full control of the draft and get us a franchise QB. Do you want Pete in charge of a rookie QB, though? Well, that's my point of what I said earlier. You know? I mean, dude, this dude should have been, like, collecting Social Security 12 years ago. Like, look, guys, the reality of this situation is pretty simple. I mean, if you're sold on a win now mode with a 74-year-old coach, right? And now we're like, oh, we need to go through a rebuild. Who in their right mind thinks that a 74-year-old coach is the right coach to do a rebuild? You know, now if he's 40, 50, at this point, I'll even take a 60-year-old, yeah, you can do a 2-3 year rebuild, but a rebuild isn't going to be a 1 year thing. So they switched the game plan on us, guys. They hoodwinked us, bro. I'm telling you, man. Raider Paul, Raiders, shout out to you, bro. I can't even fucking yell Raiders right now for being sick. 1 and 2, just pissed off, man. He said, well, here's what's going to happen to the Raiders. He said, one trade Crosby and the teams with 21st. What? Oh, 2 firsts will jump the Raiders and take our shit. What? Take our shit once again is all set up for the Raiders to lose again at QB and first. I mean, like, I hear that. I'm not exactly disagreeing with you, bro, but like, who do you want in the first round? Is there really anybody that like you're going to give up 2-3 first round draft picks to get? Unless you tank. I mean, at this point, I mean, if you want a QB, just let, Pete Carroll coach and Geno Smith start. That's probably the best fucking, right here, Raider Paul. That's probably the best situation to tank to get your QB. Howard is in the 6th. Oh, we passed him so many times with mind boggling. Yeah, that he was in the 6th, huh? Fuck, I thought Will Howard was 5th. Geno Bridge, QB with no QB to groom. Chaos Raider, what up, big dog? Ain't seen you in a minute, man. Hopefully you're doing good, bro. Said, we traded Mac for nothing. We could have kept him and still drafted Max. That's a fair point. It's a fair point. He said, the no rival KC, they own the Raiders for past decade plus. He wasn't wrong on that. I mean, I don't know, bro. Rivalries is competitive, personal. It's not one team dominating the other for a decade plus. So, like, look, dude, like, you're right. A real rivalry has to be like, hey, they win some games, we win some games, you go back and forth, kind of thing. I hear that point. But, rivalries take another step when they do ring around the rosy in your fucking stadium, bro. When they win a Super Bowl in your stadium and they grab their flag and they plant your flag in the middle of your field. You know, they're not doing that just because they won the Super Bowl. They're doing that because they know that's in the fucking Raider Nation's house. And people can say, well, our logo wasn't on there and all they want, and it's all blah, blah, blah to me, bro. They fucking did what they did, and they did it for a reason. And yes, without a shadow of a doubt, was disrespectful to the Raiders, Raider Nation, just like they've done these fucking clown shit every fucking time. Like, what did they do? They played some Muppet song, like when the Raiders come out in the Chiefs game at the beginning of this season, at the beginning of this game, bro, right? And then they do that trick play. Oh, this shit never fucking works. You know, it's all a clown show, bro. You're right. There's no rivalry. It's just us looking like a bunch of fucking ass clowns, man. Defense giving up too many third and longs. So like for me, dude, like the rivalry is to me, the rivalry is more than just going back and forth. This is way above and beyond fucking getting our asses beat, man. This is a fucking disgrace. You know, like you or other people, like I'm trying not to be disrespectful, dude. You're telling me you guys are okay with them, like, you know, you're okay with this. You guys are okay with this clown ass shit. That's funny to me, man. That's funny to me. So it's like that's like the guys feeding us this bullshit. Oh, we need to lower our expectations, lower our standards. Dude, everybody got to do self-evaluation, dude, if we're to that point. That's as nice as I can put it. That was hard for me. That was nice. That was hard for me. All right, defense giving up too many third and longs. Can't get off the field. Yeah, bro. That dude going to last game, what I said is second down is gonna be the most important down because I knew if we weren't third and short, we were gonna be in fucking trouble because their defense and they were gonna rush. They were gonna bring the blitz on third downs, dude. Especially if we're forced into a passing situation. Defense struggling because fucking QB won't keep off the field. Raiders keep losing because they want to draft QB, build around them. They want a quick fix, and it will never, ever work in the NFL, basically telling you build right or keep losing. I don't like, but here's the thing. If we're going to rip the Band-Aid off, rip the Band-Aid off. Do you want, and I'm not saying you don't, but do you want Pete Carroll, that's 74 years old, to be the guy to do the fucking rebuild? I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't, bro. Like, we got to find a younger dude. You know, we want to do a rebuild and do what you're saying. Tear the whole motherfucker down, except for maybe Max Crosby, Ashton Genty, and Brock Bowers. You know, I'd like to keep Michael Mayer too. Said, for me, it's graphic grader. He said, dude wanted to get rid of Carr and then draft Malik Willis. He's probably like top 5. He's like my top 5, but there's 2 worse than that. We'll get in at the very end. Sellers are more best QBs drafted. What? Put those QBs. And some of you guys fuck me up, man. I have hard enough time reading you guys like put shit in like hard. Make it a little more simple for me, please. All right. I love you, War Red, but make it a little more simple for me so I can fucking read this shit. Ohio, Alabama, they dwarf QBs they have now. All right, Dre the Kid, what up? Said, I don't understand this blind belief in Aiden. He's garbage. The one thing I'll give McDaniels is he didn't want to give him playing time because he's not not preseason. Aiden is a camp body at best. I don't know, bro. I mean, that's funny. That's funny because you and a lot of people have said that, right? That he's complete ass. Yeah, Aiden O'Connell is a better quarterback than Geno Smith. So, dude, you can hate on me or Aiden O'Connell all you want, dude. You traded a 3rd-round draft pick. You gave Geno Smith 66.5 guaranteed, and you gave him a $75 million contract. You're telling me that was better than keeping. You could have done this, bro. You could have kept Aiden O'Connell, fuck Geno, kept Aiden O'Connell, drafted a QB, and then maybe bring in some kind of vet on like a cheap fucking contract. That would have been plan A, B, and C. And then at least give Aiden O'Connell a shot to fucking, you know, a real shot. He's got an accurate arm. He just doesn't run. Most of you guys are like, oh, he doesn't run. It's this double standard bullshit, dude. Like some of you guys are like, you'll blame Aiden O'Connell when the offensive line sucks. You'll say it's Aiden O'Connell's fault because he's not mobile. And then Geno Smith will come in and he sucks. And instead of blaming Geno Smith, who's supposed to be a mobile quarterback, he's the 3rd most sacked quarterback in the NFL right now. Instead of blaming Geno Smith, you blame the offensive line. So you guys have this double standard. You blame Aiden O'Connell, right, for the offensive line sucking, but then you blame the offensive line when Geno Smith sucks. Tell me how that makes any fucking sense. Please, somebody fucking break this down kindergartner style for me because it doesn't make any fucking sense, bro. You guys have double standards. You guys have a double standard, and it's crazy to me. I read that one. I believe Mark when he said he's not firing him during the season, but I think he's gone after the several names we go after. It was a terrible decision, dude. They changed it from a win now to a rebuild. Dude, cut bait, rip the fucking Band-Aid off, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I agree. QB class is garbage. That's kind of where I'm at for right now, unless somebody like really comes off fucking, next year class so much better. Yeah, I would be, off the Mahomes clone, Lagway for Michigan. I'll have to keep an eye on him. Ty Simpson, John Mater look good. I'm done with rebuilds every year. It's fucking rebuild. Shake my head. I know it is, bro. He said, Honcho is the GOAT to me. I've watched some of his stuff. He gets pretty fired up. Kid from Oregon. I don't know how much these I'm gonna read. I was trying to fuck, man. I still got a bunch of stuff to get into. I only wanted to come on here for about an hour. We're at 45 minutes. I still got like another fucking 10 things to go through. I just had to take a break from that shit. It said hardcore weather Raiders always draft high. Only team that can't draft a QB of their liking. Every other team draft 2 or 3 first-round QBs like Chicago or Washington, Texans, Miami, any team but the Raiders. We're going to talk about some drafted QBs in a second here because now I'm going to have to take a break from this shit. I love it, though, dude. You guys are fired up. I'm fired up. We're all fucking fired up, man. I think they jumped the gun with Pete instead of giving PG a shot. That's a good point. I was thinking about that, too. Like, what if we cut bait with Pete Carroll? Maybe we should give Paul I almost said Paul Gunther. God. I'm just going to leave it there. My bad. All right. Ryan Miller said we need an offensive-minded coach like Joe Brady, Clint Kubiak, draft QB top 5, go along with Genty, Bowers, rebuild O-line, and we can have a chance to be respectful next year. All right. That was a good, well thought out. I appreciate that. I appreciate you making it a lot easier for me to read. Where are the Browns? We are the Browns of the West. Do you guys know it's Raiders and one other team that have the longest playoff win? Who is the other team that has not won a playoff game besides the Raiders? There's one other team that's the worst in the NFL that's gone this long. I think it's like 23 years or something without winning a playoff game. Who's the other team? The year to trade Crosby was the minute McDaniels got let go. Max has been hurt the last half of the year, the last 2 years. I don't know, bro. Yeah, he said I want the Raiders to destroy AFC team or AFC West teams they play, especially the Chiefs. Mark Davis said it already not firing Pete. Yeah, we'll see. Raiders aren't winning nothing but their way out of the best QB, so forget what's happening on the field. After Chiefs game really pisses me off. Those coaches have no respect, no discipline, no energy. Yep, facts, bro. More is not going to come out. I was thinking the Penn State dude was going to be like pretty nice, but he got hurt, so I was drafting him though. Pete drafting the first QB next year, sadly. Yeah, if we're in a rebuild and you guys think, dude, we paid Geno Smith all this money, if like you guys think keep Pete Carroll is a smart decision, if let's say you're on this camp, you're like, all right, hardcore, you're an idiot. We need to keep Pete Carroll, roll with what we're rolling with, Do you guys, because that's a good point. Do you guys think Pete Carroll is going to draft a QB in the first round, even though we have Geno Smith? Probably not. So if you're in the camp, I want to draft a QB, you probably should be in the camp, I want to move on from Pete Carroll, because Pete Carroll's probably not going to be the guy to be drafting a QB like that. Unless the general manager pushes it really hard. So if you believe how McDaniels felt about Aiden, then that makes his move to draft him even more dubious. He said, yeah, better than Geno is not an accomplishment. Garbage being better than garbage is nothing to brag about. Hey, all right, you got a point there. I mean, you're right. I am lowering the standard pretty good. So, like, I'm not going to lie. Also, nobody's seen Jets Geno come back. He played well the last 3 years. Hey, something I've been thinking of, like, you know, Geno Smith said, like, hey, they didn't write back. Hey, I wrote Geno Smith this year. Like, hey, can you, like, win some games for us? And he hasn't written back. I wrote Geno Smith, like, hey, you win some games for us this year? He hasn't written back. So there's that. Motherfucker still not writing back. We're still not winning games. So, the one got Penn State head coach, got Smart, Notre Dame coach. Geno Smith, no skill, more interceptions, bad throwing. Yeah, it's like 10 interceptions and like 7 touchdowns. What's up? What's up? Hope you're doing good, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Said, brother, I'm not part of you guys. Geno has played bad, terrible at that. But overall, the line is garbage and the play calling is garbage. This team ain't close. Yeah. But the thing is about Geno, bro, the offensive line isn't throwing in a double and triple coverage. Geno Smith is the one throwing in, and I'm not like necessarily taking shots at you. I'm just saying there's a lot of people in Raider Nation that are like, you know, it's the offensive line's fault, dude. Our quarterback is literally keeps throwing in a double and triple coverage and not throwing to guys that are open. That's decision making, dude. You know, we can't blame the offensive line for that. That's terrible quarterback play. Why isn't anyone talking about the pathetic job that Chip Kelly is doing? They had 95 yards the whole game. I think they're all part of it, you know? Highest paid offensive coordinator, and we can't fucking like score any points at all. I mean, crazy, man. How about Tom Brady? You know, where's his role in all this? Everybody was like, the Tom Brady effect, the Tom Brady effect. And I'll go a step further. I'll tell you something I haven't heard from nobody. What about the miraculous, like, oh, this is the, you know, these guys, they hire professional managers and CEOs and coaches, and they got Andy Reid hired. What about the researching firm that we hired for this hire? Like, shouldn't we hold those guys accountable? The people that were doing the research for who the Raiders should hire for our coach, and if it's a fit or whatever the fuck, you know, there's no accountability there, but everybody's pumped up for some, like, you know, firm and hiring and stuff, dude. I don't even know, man. Yeah. Alfredo, shout out to you, bro. The Dolphins. Yes. It's the Dolphins. It's only the Dolphins have a longer win or losing streak to win a fucking playoff game. It's only the Raiders and the Dolphins, meaning the Browns and every other shitty team throughout the NFL has won a playoff game except for the Dolphins. And the funny thing is, the last team that beat the Dolphins in the playoffs was the Raiders. And I think that was, I don't remember if that was our Super Bowl year or that might have been the year before our Super Bowl year. We had beat the Dolphins in the playoffs. And so the point is that the last game that the Dolphins had won in the playoffs was right before the Raiders played them back, and I think it was like 2000 or maybe 2001. Nope, it's not the Jets. The Jets has even won a playoff game more recently than the Raiders. Yep, it's crazy. Bit of fans at 73 and loyal. Shout out to you, Kerry Williams. Hope you're doing good, bro. Fans at 73 and loyal. But this has all gone overboard. All these wants and needs everyone talking about will never happen as long as we keep getting these coaches that can't coach Pee-wee. You ain't lying, bro. But that's why we should cut the bait. Dude, it's going to hurt. It's not like, and I'm not saying you like you are, but like it's going to hurt getting rid of Pete. You know, it's going to make us look bad and everything else. So, yeah, man. Pete is going to draft the fucking linebacker safety top 5. Probably, man. Wareb said, I'm not going to say what you said. I'll say O'Connell. I think that name is disrespectful to O'Connell. Sucks. Okay, Raider fans have to stop thinking about below average QB. Raider fans of such a low standard for the organization is exactly why we suck every year. All right. And to be fair, okay, War Reb, because I don't remember. There's some things I don't remember. Like if you want a draft pick, I may not remember. There's some things I'll remember, like Watts Raider. Watts Raider wanted us to draft Jordan Love years ago. You know, I remember that one. You know, I remember Q Myers wanted us to get like Jalen Hurts, who, you know, me and some other Raider fans wanted as well, but I weren't like pumping it as hard. But War Reb has been the leading dog in the camp of like, you know, tear the bitch down, draft a QB like in the first round, like one of the top QBs. So he's definitely been riding that thing for years, not just like, hey, Raiders 7528. Shout out to you, bro. Ain't seen you in a minute. Hopefully you're doing good. Good to see you in here, man. We had chances of several different QBs past 5 years and keep picking shit. I mean, there have been, maybe not like the top guys, but we've had some chances. So hardcore, you need to start pounding the table for QB, and so does every other podcast, because if we don't, the organization we love are backups for future QBs. And Warreb will take this a step further and saying the NFL will never let us win unless we draft a high QB. And he might be right. I mean, I think he's right that we need a top QB, but I think he even might be right that like the NFL would never let us win. You guys want to know a fun fact? I didn't put this in the notes, but I'll tell you this like freestyling. You guys remember the Tuck game, right? And it was the fuck was the referee's name? Walt Coleman was the head referee during the Tuck game, right? And that made the bad decision. Well, his son, actually he has two sons that refed in the NFL. One was Walt Coleman Jr. Okay, so Walt Coleman that did the Tuck game, he retired. And he only did, I think, one game. I think it was the year he was going to retire, or one of his last games he ever did in the NFL. That was the only other time like he did like a Raiders game. They purposely never stuck Walt Coleman to do any of the Raider games because Raider Nation fucking hated that cocksucker for cheating us and stuff. But Walt Coleman had two sons that were also referees. One was Walt Coleman Jr., the fourth, and then the other is James Coleman. Guess who the sideline judge was in the Raiders versus Chiefs game this last week? It was one of Walt Coleman's sons, James Coleman, was one of the sideline judges. The other son, Walt Coleman Jr., or the fourth, he retired, I think, like a couple years ago. So there's a fun fact for you guys. Yeah, I do my research. So if you guys, I mean, like, like calls are going to go our way, but you better believe we're going to get some extra bad calls, with shit like that. So I agree with that. What I don't seem to understand is why he's solely locked in on throwing the ball to Tucker and Jacoby. Thornton needs to get more looks. I don't know if you're talking about Gino or whatever. I'm trying to catch up and then get to like the second half of the stuff I want to cover. Gino is also holding the ball way too long and missing reads. It's not just these awful interception rate this year. No, I could pull it up for you guys. Go look at his QBR. He is like the fifth worst or third worst QB in the NFL for his QBR rating. And go look at how many times Geno Smith has been sacked. He's like third worst in the NFL. It's not just the interceptions. And you're right, holding on to the ball. It's pretty simple, dude. In the NFL, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Past 3 seconds, you're lucky to get past 3 seconds to throw a ball in the NFL. It's like 2.7 seconds, okay? If you get to like 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, okay, you better be getting rid of that ball, like straight up. You better be getting rid of that ball. For some reason, we have a 34-year-old or 35-year-old that doesn't, seem to understand that, Jerry said Beck needs more looks. Agree with that. All right, we got a Broncos fan in here. Said, as long as Chiefs don't go to the Super Bowl, I'm happy. And I think he said up there, what'd he say? He says, peace first year, give him time. Dude, he's 74 years old, though, man. Like he ain't it, man. You know what I mean? I mean, like I don't want to like age discriminate, but I'm telling you, you're going to do a 2 to 3 year rebuild with a 74-year-old. So he's going to be what, 77? What is he going to be, 80 by the time we win a fucking Super Bowl, bro? 80 years old, maybe he's taking advice from fucking Donald Trump and fucking Joe Biden, how to be old and still get shit done. I don't fucking know, but I ain't putting money on that. Raider Shield family, Shotzi bro said, fuck it, should have kept AP. Weren't paying him shit. At least the players respected a young coach. Dude, my thing was he got dealt a dirty hand and he didn't get a fair shake. That was how the thing ended, and them not giving him Josh Jacobs a run game, Now, the one thing I will critique about Coach Antonio Pierce is Gardner Minshew should have never been the starter. Now, the question becomes, who was pushing for Gardner Minshew to be the starter? Was it Tom Telesco? Was it the offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy? Whoever made the decision to start Gardner Minshew instead of Aiden O'Connell is a fucking idiot, and they never should have done that. Jimmy Gunn, shout out to you, bro. So I missed DC4. Dude, at this point, if you want to win now, I probably 90% of Raider Nation would not agree with me on this, but here's how you win now. You bring back John Gruden, no matter what it fucking takes, and you bring back Derek Carr. You want to be in a win now mode? Because you can't bring John Gruden. John Gruden, I don't think is the best coach to develop a quarterback. You know, now if they're under Derek Carr or somebody else, I think that could work out, down the road. But Derek Carr knows Gruden's playbook even still. So if you were to bring in a Gruden, there's nobody better that would know that playbook and to help this team evolve and develop than Derek Carr. But to me, Derek Carr would have to take a pay cut, and you'd have to freaking, get some more talent. You have to spend some money and get some talent in here. Obviously got to work on the offensive line, but we really need a better wide receiver core. We got to have a true number one. Even Devontae wasn't it when Carr was here. So, we got James Farpo said Raiders. I didn't want to yell Raiders, dude, because I'm sick and that pissed me off, man. He said Tom Brady, as soon as the NFL media started saying he's leaking information to the Raiders became trash. I knew the NFL scripted. We lost to Washington, the Colts, Chiefs. It's scripted. Yeah, I know what you're saying. And I know why people say it. I know it's his initials, but there's another reason too. I'm not going to go there, bro. So just leave it at that. I'll call him O'Connell. This is his last name. It's pretty simple. All right. But UBU. We already looking bad. Left my ass off. I said, what difference would have making get rid of Pete? What's the difference of getting rid of Pete? Fields, Justin Fields is trash, bro. No, he's a running back. Archman would probably stay in school for at least 2 more years. He probably needs to, man. Richard already said, what about 3x5 card first down? That was awful. Yeah, that was pretty terrible, man. Gene fucking set. I just forget his last name, but yeah. Now we got to deal with fucking Gene Sanator or whatever his fucking name is and listen to his bad takes on plays and stuff and calls. All right. I think I'm just going to be all right. All right, let me get back into this. And we'll finish this up. So to the Max Crosby trade, hell no, man. That's where I'm at. But all right, I know a lot of people are on that thing. I think it would destroy anything we got left or whatever. So, all right, now let's get into something. I need a little mental break. So I got a couple NFL questions on here. All right, miscellaneous questions. All right. Over the last 5 years, who's the worst QB that was hyped up coming out of the college? I kind of messed that up. Out of college, pretty much, but drafted in the first round. And then list your top 3 in order. So, who are the your top 3 candidates coming out of college that were hyped up that you thought were going to be good, or NFL or media pundits thought were going to be good? My 3 are Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence. I probably should have. I don't know. I probably should have thrown Bryce Young in there. Bryce Young has not been good, and I didn't think he was going to be good. But I remember Kyler Murray being hyped up. I know there's still some in Raider Nation that want Kyler Murray. I don't want that fucking dude. I don't want him to begin with or in the draft. But you look at this, Kyler Murray, he's been ass. Tua Tagovailoa, he's been ass. And I brought Trevor Lawrence up. He was definitely hyped up. And Trevor Lawrence was one of the very high, pumped up, guys coming out of college that I did think was going to be a good quarterback. So far, my analysis has been fairly wrong on Trevor Lawrence, and I think Murray's ass. I think Tua still has a chance to be good. I wasn't as negative on Tua as I was on Kyler Murray and Bryce Young. But the point is, I know some of you guys and some people have been talking here, we need number one, Warreb, we need number 1 QB. Well, the miss rate on these number 1 QBs are drafted in the first round, and the hype is very high to miss on a QB. I'm not saying we shouldn't take a chance and draft one, but the facts are the facts. And the facts are there's been a lot of hyped up, quarterbacks, drafted in the first round and the first, like 10 picks off the board that have been and turned out to be straight fucking ass. And Kyler Murray's in that fucking category for sure. So is Bryce Young, and it's funny because all the experts will fucking try to pump these dudes up and they suck. All right. Number 2, name NFL surprise team this year doing better than you thought. So like, what's like the NFL team besides like, obviously with like non-Raiders questions, but the team that's like doing really good this year that you thought probably wasn't gonna be that good. And for me, it's the Colts. There's I think a few different directions you could go. And then the other one's kind of the flip side of that is like who's doing the worse in the NFL than you thought. The Ravens, what are the Ravens? 1-5, and I think the Texans are 2-4 or something like that. So those two are like pretty surprising to me. I know the Ravens, a lot of it is their quarterback hurt, Lamar Jackson. But I would have never thought the Ravens were, even if, Lamar Jackson got hurt because they have a really good team, I would never thought the Ravens would be at that record. The Raiders have a better record than the Ravens. So that's pretty funny. Who do you think will be the NFL's MVQ this year? So most valuable QB, because they call it MVP, but it's fucking horseshit. It should be called MVQ because it's always the most valuable QB. Not most valuable player, but they need to switch it to most valuable QB. Who do you guys think is going to be the, MVP of quarterbacks this year? I was thinking about that one. I was like, it might be Baker Mayfield. Crazy enough, it could be Dak Prescott. There's a few different directions you could go. But want to put some of those other non-Raider stuff in there because some of this other stuff just pisses me off so bad. I was like, I need to break from, some of this other stuff. So, all right, name 2 disappointing things Raiders did in free agency. So if you guys were to go back, right, not to be Monday morning quarterback, but I think a lot of us kind of, could look at the Raiders and what they did wrong and key decisions that they've made wrong, and what are 2 like things Raiders did in free agency that you don't agree with or you're disappointed with? So for me, it was Nate Hobbs. Like I could pick 2 players, but I could also go a different route than just 2 players. But for me, it would be like Nate Hobbs and probably Robert Spillane. You could even maybe say offensive line. But if I just did like say 1 player and then like another like disappointing thing, I'll put probably the top of the list. If I put Geno Smith in this category, is trading for Geno Smith. Geno Smith to me has to be like the worst decision that we could have fucking made because it tied our hands. We gave this guy way too much money and we traded a 3rd round draft pick. And now it limits us to where, if Pete Carroll stays our coach, we may not even try to address the quarterback position until like the 4th, 5th round or something crazy, So, there was a lot of, I think, mistakes made in free agency. Not addressing the offensive line well enough, not re-signing some guys, but, Geno Smith should probably be at the top of that list as far as mistakes made in free agency. What's the worst part about the season? For me, it's knowing that Pete Carroll isn't the right coach to do a rebuild. So might as well rip the Band-Aid off. And then I said, bring back Gruden, even though I know like 98% of people won't want to do that. And the Raiders probably won't. But for me, that's where I would be at. I just want to win a Super Bowl, and I would like for it to be with John Gruden. But if it needs to be a different coach to do this thing, I don't know at this point. All I know is Pete Carroll ain't it. You know what I mean? Name free agents or players whose contracts are up this year that Raiders should keep. So I thought this would be kind of a neat one. Who do you guys think whose contracts going to be up this year that maybe Raiders should keep? Meaning who on the team? Most of these guys have 1 or 2 year deals. Who the Raiders have on our team that's on a 1 or 2 year contract that's worth keeping? Honestly, Devin White. Devin White is probably one of the few guys I could think of where I'm like, yeah, we should keep Devin White. And then it's like, I don't know if I'd keep anybody that's on a short leash, anybody that's got a 1 or 2 year deal other than Devin White. I don't know that. I'm not seeing really much more than that. There's probably a few more guys, but there's probably not a lot of guys that we should keep on this team. All right, number 8. Is Geno Smith the right QB for a rebuild? I think that's a key important question. Is Geno Smith the right QB for a rebuild? And to me, I think the answer is no. I know we all want to bridge QB and stuff like that, but I mean, I just don't think that Geno Smith is, with what we're paying him, and then if, especially if we don't draft a QB like high, and try to get our like long-term situation at the quarterback position, I don't think Geno Smith is the right QB for a rebuild. So then the question becomes, what should the Raiders do with their QB situation? And as you guys can see, there's a lot of questions like with these Raiders. You know what I mean? A lot of questions with these Raiders. What should the Raiders do with their QB situation? Do we cut bait with Geno and draft a guy? Do we keep Geno, draft a guy? I mean, very questionable. And then number 10, name the top 3 Raider worst coaches over the last 5 years. I should have done probably top 2 because I know we haven't had that many coaches. But, I mean, for me, it's like it's got to be Josh McDaniels and Pete Carroll. They're like tied neck and neck, And, if Pete Carroll was like a less experienced coach and we weren't sold on win now, I think there's a lot more forgiveness and we weren't paying him like a shit ton of money. You know what I mean? I think there's more forgiveness if, it's not supposed to be like an experienced coach and we're going to win, like maybe not this year, but a year 2 or 3, we're going to be in a winning situation. I think we're a lot further off than like being ready to contend next year. This might be like a 3-year thing, whether or not Pete Carroll is our coach or not. And his contract's only a 3-year deal. So why fucking keep the dude? You know what I mean? And then I said, what's the worst situation for the Raiders coaching situation? And for me, it's to keep Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. I think the worst situation for where the Raiders are at, especially if we're doing a rebuild, is to keep Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. I know we're tired of turnover. I know we're tired of all this shit, but I don't think that's the right. That's like Pete Carroll and Geno Smith is what you do if you're trying to win now and you actually go do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the right coach. It's not the right quarterback for what we need and where we're at. And we need to like rip this thing down. They could have done things differently in free agency to probably give us a better shot, a better chance, but they're not. They made some terrible decisions just like Josh McDaniels did. And I thought about going all over the Josh McDaniels stuff. Some of this, honestly, guys, it's so like painful and it sucks so bad. I didn't want to go over it. I really don't. Like, I don't want to rehash the Khalil Mack shit. I don't want to rehash the McDaniel shit. I don't. But also, I mean, like the Khalil Mack stuff, I think sometimes we need like reminded like how bad that sucked, and you guys want that again. And if you do, then fine. But at least know what you're getting yourself into, That's why I took time. Like, I had to edit all that shit, So whether you guys appreciate it or not, like that shit like is not like quick and easy to do, man. So all right. 13. Almost done with these. What was the worst play ever called in a Super Bowl? If you guys go back to any Super Bowl ever played that you ever watched, what was the worst play call in Super Bowl history? I'll wait. Worst play call ever in Super Bowl history. What was that play? Not what I think. What do you think? Worst play call in Super Bowl history was the one and only Pete Carroll not giving Marshawn Lynch the ball to score a touchdown. Our coach right now made the worst call, and I'm not just saying this because I'm ready for him to get out of here and because he fucked up the Raiders. I'm telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, at least in my opinion, the worst play call, even before he was like our Raider coach, was Pete Carroll's decision to not give Beast Mode, one of the best running backs in the NFL, to not hand the ball off to him to let Marshawn Lynch get a fucking touchdown. And Pete Carroll loses that Super Bowl because of a bad fucking decision-making. And that was years ago. That wasn't 74-year-old Pete. That was a much younger Pete Carroll than what we have right now. So think about that. our coach is in my opinion at least, he's made the worst play call in all of Super Bowl history. It's got to be up there. Even if you love Pete Carroll, even if you disagree with me, even if you hate me, whatever, I don't care. That's fine. That's fair, But you got to put that decision for Pete Carroll not to give Marshawn Lynch beast mode the ball to get a touchdown. You got to put that in top 5 worst calls in Super Bowl history. I think it should be top 3, and I think it's number 1. And that's saying a lot. You have a coach that made the worst play call at the most key pivotal point to win a fucking Super Bowl for your team. And our coach owns that. And he's supposed to be the guy that under pressure, that under all these situations that he's experienced, and that he's going to get the best out of a team and out of this team. That's what it's supposed to be. So for me, in all those situations and like questions is why I think Pete Carroll needs to retire. And so who's my top 2 worst content creators? The one and only JT Eats a Dick. JT the Brick is the worst fucking top of the list. And number 2 is Vinny Bonsignore. Both these guys been pumping and spewing this garbage to Raider Nation. And most of Raider Nation has ate this shit up for fucking years, guys. Years. JT the Brick will hang up on people he don't agree with. He'll interrupt them. JT the Brick is paid by the Raiders. Some other people, like Q Myers, isn't, right? But he's paid by the Raiders. JT the Brick always has excuses and will never stand for what's actually right. And the problem is that with JT the Brick, I mean, there's lots of problems with that fucking dude. But the problem is that this dude is like, I see it differently than probably most people because he was a stockbroker. And because I've researched the stock market, I know their tactics. I know they're beat around the bush methods and, how they try to manipulate people and pump shit up and like, the pump and dump kind of stuff. Cause that's what they do. Like what they do in the stock market is they'll be like, yeah, buy the stock. When they're selling it at the top and they're getting ready to dump it, that's when they tell people to buy. That's like how JT the Brick is, dude. He has like that personality. It's a stockbroker personality. He's a Giants fan that pretends to be a Raiders fan. And, says he bleeds, silver and black, wants to yell at people. Nobody even wants to call the fucking dude anymore because of how fake he is. And he shouldn't even be covering the Raiders. He's the fucking worst. And I used to call into his show and I used to report him. And Vinny Bonsignore is right in there, number 2. He was always hating on John Gruden, never gave John Gruden a fair shot. Vinny Bonsignore was the number 1 cheerleader, pumping up Pete Carroll, pumping up Geno Smith, pumping up Jimmy G. Both these clowns were. And a lot of people in Raider Nation and me at times have bought into their bullshit and fed into it. But both of these guys have been more wrong than everybody else in all of Raider Nation. And I have a lot of enemies. I have a lot of people I don't fucking like that cover the Raiders. A lot. It used to not be that way. I used to all be all like, oh, unity and, let's all be one. But when COVID happened, I realized how many fake people there were. And I was like, I don't want to fucking be like, where the sun don't shine, motherfuckers, right here. Where the sun don't shine, man. You know what I'm saying? So, I just got tired of the bullshit, And so as much as there's other people out there I don't like, those 2 guys are at the top of my list. And probably a lot of others as well. You know what I mean? Going back to the Josh McDaniels and how it was a great decision and like, and yeah. So what? You're paid by the Raiders and you don't want to bash the coach or whatever. You're also fucking fake, bro. You're also fucking real fake about all this shit. And you have been for years. And the thing is, a lot of people in Raider Nation are real about all this, and a lot of us see it for what it is. And a lot of us in Raider Nation are sick of the bullshit as well. We're sick of it because we get fed the same thing. Oh, we're going to win now. They pump them up. They pump us up. Geno Smith, a good decision. Pete Carroll, good decision. And now they're like, oh, well, let's backtrack. Our expectations are too high, guys. We have too high expectations. We need to tone this back. And now it's not a rebuild, but hey, these guys got to get their guys. Dude, these guys been spewing the same garbage to us for years. And a lot of Raider content creators, I know, watch them and listen to them because they end up repeating the same garbage that Vinny Bonsignore and fucking JT the Brick is spewing. So that's it. Usually I'll just like kind of say stuff without saying names, but it's time. It's time it needs fucking said. If anybody, like I started it, if anybody was as wrong as fucking, you know, as these guys have been, we wouldn't have a fucking job. You know, we would not have a job. And you can go back, rewind it. I covered it for all these reasons. I covered it at the beginning, and it makes me want to like puke so much that I had to take a break from that. And then that's when I went to the Khalil Mack shit. All right. So that's all I got to fucking say, guys.
Doing?
They have
That's
no
all
idea.
I got to say. But you know what? Let's end it with this. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in to Hardcore Card Collecting.
What are the Raiders doing?
They have no idea.
You had Khalil Mack.
Good pass rushers are hard to find.
Well, we didn't have a pass rush. Well, duh. Why do you think you didn't have a pass rush? That might have something to do with you trading Khalil Mack. That's why you didn't have a daggone pass rush. So let's be clear about this.
Well, then why did you trade Khalil Mack?
You had him, but you traded him for assets.
It's a players' league. You got one of the elite defensive players in the game of football.
Why does he trade Khalil Mack, really? Because he looks at the team and he goes, we're not close. We're not that close. We have holes to fill. This guy is already 27. He's going to make a ton of money. If we're about to win, of course, you got to sign him. We're not. Let's get draft picks and we'll see what we can do with them.
Okay.
And it seems like the value was given up. So you think, what's going on here? Well, if you didn't know anything about the Raiders.
But